For the original Avatar, the writer-director James Cameron made extensive use of cutting-edge performance capture technology. In his long-awaited follow-up to Avatar, Cameron set about exploring more of Pandora.
Am I dead? Am I dead?
Alive.
The screenplay described many scenes in the water and underwater with a semi-aquatic Na'vi clan called the Metkayina. Avatar 2 has improved tons of things in the field of CGI. If you have seen the movie, then you can feel the amount of work and time the team has put behind the movie. So let's enjoy some behind the scenes, or you can say the making of water scenes in Avatar 2. Don't skip the video as you are gonna dive down deep into the vast magical ocean with tons of new technology. When it came to realizing those watery scenes, there would be none of the usual Hollywood drive for wet performance capture techniques. Actor dangling from wires, feigning weightlessness, making back swimming motions in the air. But Avatar 2 is different. According to members of Cameron's crew, the director went for wet technology. For this, a tank was built that could simulate waves and currents, as requested by James Cameron. Avatar: The Way of Water represents a new milestone in the evolution of visual effects technology, underwater performance capture. Computer-generated water. Nearly all of the sea shots in the blockbuster are digital, but making them seem real led to a milestone in the technique. After some crew tests, the first experiments took place in the backyard pool of an Avatar producer, Jon Landau. A performance capture tank was constructed at Lightstorm Entertainment's facility in Manhattan Beach, California. The tank was 32 feet deep and held around 90,000 gallons. Now if you are wondering that how much is exactly 90,000 gallons, then remember that the seawater tank constructed for Titanic contains 17 million gallons. So it clearly says a lot about 90,000 gallons. Along with viewing platforms on the deck, there were windows in the pool walls for camera operators to shoot through, giving the place the look and feel of a laboratory aquarium. One of the main difficulties the crew faced was preventing overhead studio lights from interfering with the performance capture data. And for this, Cameron suggested spreading a layer of small polymer balls across the waterline, thereby diffusing the light in the tank while allowing actors to surface safely. He had used the basic techniques to simulate dark oceanic depths in the abyss. Something else that would have inconveniently disrupted the performance capture, actors with their pesky respiratory needs. Cast members held their breath, not just during takes but in the moments leading up to take. On top of getting their scuba certifications, they trained with a free diving instructor. Kate Winslet proudly holds the cast free diving record, 7 minutes and 14 seconds. For the occasional propulsive boost in the water, performers were jetpack-like devices. There were safety drivers on hand and hot tubs for the actor between takes. The main cast also shared their scenes with professional underwater dancers and gymnasts. According to Weta, 57 new species of sea creatures were created for the film. Weta artists also consulted with researchers at Victoria University of Wellington about coral reef biology. Avatar: The Way of Water is the biggest visual effect project the company has ever taken on. Only 2 shots in the entire film contains no visual effects. Despite all those skin pruning sessions in the tank and the vast quantities of water in the sequel, nearly all of the water in the film is computer generated. Of the 3,240 visual effects shots, Weta worked on 2,225 involved water. To bring Pandora to life, the team at Weta had to become expert not only in hydrodynamics, but also in rendering those complex physics photorealistically. The proper flows of waves on the oceans, waves interacting with characters, waves interacting with environments, the thin film of water that runs down the skin, the way hair behaves when it's wet, the index of refraction of light underwater, they wanted to make it all physically accurate. As part of their research, the team shot hundreds of hours of reference footage, wind ripples on the surface of water, waves hitting rocks, the movement of seaweed. In fact, some 57 new animal species were created for the film, including a huge whale-like creature. Weta pioneered way to make things look better, recently filling a patent applications for methods of generating visual representations of a collision between an object and a fluid. This innovation was especially useful in one sequence where a human character named Spider emerges onto some rocks by a group of navies dripping with water. The shots blend live-action footage of the actor Jack Champion, who was filmed in a wave pool with a CG Navy. As Sandon pointed out, the simulated water on the Navy had to look just as convincing as the actual water on the human character, because you are comparing it to a live-action element in the same shot. And we don't want you to think about that. Considerable horsepower is required too. For that scene alone, it took 2 weeks for Weta system to simulate just the movement of the water. That's before the millions of processor hours required to render the graphics. You can take an idea about the data by the fact that the total amount of data stored for this film was 18.5 petabytes, while Avatar required only 1 petabyte. Another sequence featured boats crashing through entirely simulated waves, While the results are in a sense spectacular, the points of this kind of painstaking work not to draw attention to itself. It's not about crazy movements that yell out visual effects. These are just effects that makes the film work. So this was a pretty much a breakdown of the whole Avatar movie water scenes. If you enjoyed the video, then make sure to press the subscribe button for more such Hollywood updates. Till that, stay safe, peace out.